Come on, man. It's a state of stupidity.
It's a state of stupidity.
State of stupidity.
That's just a state of stupidity.
State of stupidity.
I believe it's a state of stupidity.
They want you to believe it's a state of stupidity.
I told him, I said it's a state of stupidity.
Welcome back to the State of Stupidity. This is episode 14, and, well, let's address that at the offset. On YouTube, this will seem like we missed an episode because last week's episode did not stay up. They didn't specify the reason. I'm pretty sure, given the topics we discussed, we can deduce They said medical misinformation, but, I mean, we had receipts for pretty much anything that we were discussing last week, so it is what it is. I was surprised that it took us 13 episodes. You jinxed it. You said it was unlucky 13.
Exactly,
and
I told you.
There you go. I mean, but it's up everywhere else.
We must have hit a nerve.
Yeah, and I mean, actually, we now have, as far as what Spotify's analytics tell me, we have an audience in Switzerland. We have an audience in, I'm sorry, not Switzerland, Sweden, Germany, Australia, and I think that's it. I don't think I missed anybody. But so we're getting out there. We're actually starting to be a little bit international. I mean, considering that the deep state is in a fight against the world now. I mean, where's the new fire? There was one in Greece. There's flooding. There's the way they are making it seem, it feels like biblical end times out there. I mean, I don't know about you, but a lot of these weather stories feel like they're trying to make us feel that way more than it really is.
I mean, I think they're pushing this climate change.
Yeah.
To me, it's to push people out of their homes.
Well, and they told us they were going to do that.
Yeah, they're so worried about, the ocean rising 10 to 14 inches or whatever in the next 5 or 10 years. Why do they all own oceanfront property?
Well, and it always changes. I mean, when we were kids, it was going up. You know what I mean?
And it went up an inch.
If that. I mean, and legitimately, that's it's nothing to be worried about.
Well, if they were so worried about it,
an inch will dry up.
And if they were so worried about it, like I said, they wouldn't own any property there.
Exactly. And still be trying to buy more.
Exactly. Why would you be buying more and more of it? But, like we talked about before, they want to talk about climate change, but they're responsible for the top 1% are responsible for 40% of it.
Yeah.
And what are they doing to cut back? What are they doing to save, to save any kind of, do any climate change on their own?
Yeah.
I mean, look at that bus company that Biden touted.
Mm-hmm.
They went belly up, $8 billion.
Well, anything that they put their money into, once they're done laundering money from it, then it goes bankrupt.
Yeah, what they do is they tout it. I mean, they were trying to say that Soros lost $20 million in that company, which I call bullshit.
Yeah.
Like you said, they tout it up, then everybody goes and buys the stock, and now the stock's worth nothing.
Exactly.
The buses were so great.
Yeah.
We were gonna start, doing all the school buses. We're gonna be that, all the public transportation. In California, they catch on fire. In Florida, they break down. They can't fix them because the parts are so obsolete. They can't even get the parts to fix them. And then they have them. Why would you put them in Alaska? They have them up in Alaska. You know what happened up there? The batteries froze.
Oh.
So the buses are completely useless up there. So, you're going to put these buses out there. Don't you think you would keep them in a warm climate?
Yeah.
That would make more sense to test them there.
Yeah.
Than to try to test them out in these other. So they lost $8 billion.
And so, I mean, well, to me, then that means that money that money never existed in the first place.
Well, they got government subsidies, so that money was just from one, take the billions from here and put the billions over here. That's all they did.
Right, and at that level, it's all we're seeing is government corruption of funds. I mean, they just said they're sending another billions worth of ammunition to Ukraine. And this ammunition is anti-tank type shit, shit we shouldn't be giving them.
Yeah. What do they need anti-tank stuff for? I mean,
I don't know. I mean, at this point, we're in we got rid of Afghanistan, and then they started the Ukraine.
Well, what they should have done is just shipped all that stuff from Afghanistan to Ukraine, but they don't want to do that because then you wouldn't be able to sell it.
Well, that's
That
right.
was
And
that
they
was already
made,
that
they
was
made
yeah
the money.
that was already bought and paid for.
Right, and then that's just it. They're not going to take resources that they already have and allocate them. They're
But
going to take the funding to try and say they
exactly.
need to produce more when there's perfectly good ones that. And it wasn't like those people were forced to leave that stuff the way they did.
No,
they were ordered
exactly.
to leave that stuff
They could
the
have.
way
We
they
could have.
did.
We could still be there moving that stuff out.
Yeah.
There was no reason to leave that.
We spent how many years? How many
Exactly.
years were we there with boots on the ground? We could have
Oh,
easily have taken the time to leave properly and do things the right way. But that's not the American government's MO.
Well,
the
you know,
U.S.
you talk about that. There's actually a video just surfaced about Biden. This was the younger years of Biden, talking about, how if he was president, he could say we're ending the war now, but it would still take a year to get the troops out.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to get them out quicker and leave the billions of dollars of equipment behind, you could do it in 6 to 7 months. But he looks right at an older woman and says the problem with leaving the billions behind is those weapons will be used against your and my grandchildren.
Right.
Come 5 to 10 or 15, 20 years later, I don't remember how old this was. What did he exactly do? The exact opposite of what he said you should do,
Right.
which is no surprise for Biden. That's what he does.
Well, and that's just politics in general.
but
you say one thing while you're clearly doing something
Oh, exactly.
behind
Just
the
like he
scenes
did with
because
the student loans. He told them everybody when he was running, he was going to wipe them away. No, and he couldn't do it.
yeah,
He knew he couldn't do it.
they expect everybody to just keep playing along with the game that
Yeah,
they're
because they do. That's the problem.
Yeah, and I mean, at this point, the government corruption it's right out there. The Biden crime family is a thing. It's a real thing, and he takes his orders from Obama. Victoria Newland, I don't fucking know. Her name's come up. Victoria Newland.
Okay.
She is also involved in that grouping because, I mean, you need somebody like her to just go out and talk over people to try and get your point of view across.
Yeah, I mean, if Biden's good at anything, it's leaving things and people behind.
Well,
He left the lower middle class behind.
he's just following orders.
Well,
He's just following.
well,
he's a puppet.
They're all
Like,
they're all
he's a
puppets at the end of the day. But I
Right.
mean, he leaves them behind. He was in the Obama administration when they left them behind in Benghazi.
Yeah.
They were hoping all those guys would have got killed there. That was their whole ultimate goal.
Well, and that was the problem. And then when all the emails started coming out with the wiki.
Yeah, the WikiLeaks stuff.
And I mean, look at that guy. I mean, poor Julian Assange, who was honestly just trying to give the world a little bit of truth of what's going on behind the scenes. And instead of going after any of that corruption in the light of day, at least from what it seems.
Oh, they didn't go after
They didn't do any of that. They went after him.
Yep.
And I mean, to this day, he is still, I believe he is currently in a Greece jail.
I thought he was didn't he go to Russia?
No, I got to look it up. I
thought
don't
he
have it
I
on
thought
the
he
top
tried
of my
getting to
head,
Russia.
but he's currently been in jail for the last 3 years, and it took him like 2. He's only had like what he's being held for told to him within the last year. So he was being held for like multiple years without even being told what he was being held there for, and it was clearly in connection with the United States trying to get anybody to extradite him.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't that anybody was really trying to. It was the whistleblowing aspect of it that they were trying to go after him for.
Absolutely.
And now, if they showed that they can try and do the right thing when it suits what they deem the right thing.
Oh, I mean, but yeah, you want to talk about that. I mean, before we get to that, though, Obama was on stage again yesterday with Captain Larry T. Taylor.
Well, I mean, he's got to do the rounds right now with what's going on with Tucker Carlson.
Oh, well, but he goes with this, he's given the Medal of Honor award.
Oh, you said Obama. You mean Biden.
I meant Biden.
Yeah. See, hey, even you do it.
Yeah, see, I've even mixed up. Yeah, so, Captain Larry T. Taylor gets this Medal of Honor award.
Yeah.
Biden shakes his hand, mumbles some bullshit to him.
Yeah.
and then he's ready to leave right away. He forgets to even salute the guy.
Yeah.
And then after he salutes him, he just leaves.
But it was legitimately just for publicity.
Oh, exactly. He
Yeah.
didn't even stay for the finishing of the ceremony.
No.
He leaves the guy up on the stage, so he's great at leaving people behind.
Yeah.
That's his best skill.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and I
it's
mean,
just-
he's already left the American people behind.
exactly. He leaves them behind every day.
And but I mean, they're not too far from his thoughts. The second terrorizers creep into his thoughts.
Yeah.
Now they're
Well,
domestic.
It's only white domestic terrorizers.
Right.
Don't forget that.
Yeah.
You know, and then they ask him too. They ask him the question. You know, when do you plan on going to East Palestine, where the train derailed?
Yeah.
Which happened in March.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I was thinking about going there, but then I was reminded I have to go all around the world. So going all around the world is more important to going somewhere where we have one of the largest train derailments and disasters in the country.
Well, he's just following the money. He's
Oh.
following the money that follows him.
Well, pretty much.
You know what I mean? He's got to go and shake the hands that are still, giving him his due, And so it's one of those things where you can clearly see where the mindset is as far as just what their actual concerns are just by their actions. I mean, actions speak louder than words.
yeah, and then you have
We've gotten to the opposite where for some reason we're focused more on the bullshit they say when we've had clear facts and evidence and proof of the corruption.
Well, yeah, exactly. We have it with, they talk about, they had that Jeannie Pirro or whatever. They asked her the question, Trump's being arrested or charged with, election interference and saying the election was rigged.
Yeah.
They did the exact same thing in 2016. That's all everybody talked about.
Yeah.
It was he's an illegitimate president. He stole the election. Russian hacked the election. They found out all that was bullshit and lies.
Right, and it was actually the Obama administration paying the FBI
Exactly.
to produce a case that didn't actually
It didn't exist. Yeah, then they knew it didn't. So why isn't
that
Hillary,
sounds like treason.
Yeah, why isn't Hillary Clinton arrested? Why isn't Obama arrested? Why isn't Biden arrested? They all knew that they all lied about it.
Right.
But you don't hear about that. That's not all over the news.
Well, and now the thing is that if they did that, enough of the people that are in their cult of personality would actually like fucking lose their minds and fuck shit up. Like the things that they think people would do in the name of Trump is what people would do for those. Look at the unhinged people that have attacked Christian schools and whatnot, and they have to tiptoe around what these people's beliefs are to make it fit their narrative so they can still put it out.
Well, the same press secretary is the same exact one that said the election was stolen herself.
Right.
So she's on there saying that, but that's totally different. How's it any different?
Do as I say, not as I do.
Exactly.
And but that mentality is kind of starting to wear thin to the American people, where I think that you're seeing more and more people, quote unquote, wake up to the bullshit. And it is one of those things where I think that, well, look at the Trump case. The Trump case allows him to also bring forth all his evidence.
Oh, exactly. And the FBI...
And that's kind of what it's a little bit more towards being able for him to present the information that since 2020, he had gone around and had his legal team trying to present to judges who just wouldn't even open up the envelope and look at the evidence. They just kept pushing it aside. Whatever the hell, they were dismissing it without even looking at the evidence.
And the FBI has the documents where Biden got the $5 million for the bribery.
Well, it depends on the pseudonym. He's got at least 4,
but they had the
he
documents,
goes by,
and they admitted that they had the document.
Yeah,
but you know why it's not, and they admitted it's not classified.
Yeah,
the reason they don't want to release it is they want to protect the source.
Okay.
Which is bullshit.
Right.
They can release it without putting the source on it.
Well, yeah, because let's go back to the Julian Assange thing.
Exactly.
They're trying to so they're trying to do what they're trying to also then go after him.
Exactly.
For. It's fucking hypocritical in so many ways, and it's one of those things where it's time for an actual reset, but like a reset of the political system as far as the way that they're able to be paid to be politicians. That needs to change. It's not that the democratic system needs to be abolished. No, its current form, the monster that it has become, is what needs to be taken care
Well,
of.
you know what you got to do is
Get rid of lobbyists.
Well, you gotta
and
take-
lobbying,
you got to take the money out of politics.
and also take all the fucking titty bullshit laws stuff.
Well, you got to take the money out of politics. Everybody that wants to run for office should get the same amount of airtime.
Minimum wage.
Well, what they should do is, I actually heard somebody was telling me today that they should base their income off the median income of the area they represent.
Okay.
Because if you do that,
Yeah.
they're going to want to make their area.
They're going to want to actually
They're-
put
they're
forth
gonna-
effort into their area.
Exactly. They're going to
Yeah.
want to make they're going to want to bring the income in their area or wherever they represent. They're going to want to have to invest time, money, and get that income brought up. They're going to want to actually build, bring jobs to there.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was a pretty good idea,
Yeah.
but the problem is there's so much money in politics, and what the last election was $3 or $4 billion was
Those and
spent on it.
it's like I said to you, we're sitting here talking about people fucking with billions, while in my head on an average day I'm worried about hundreds.
Well, exactly.
And-
I mean, look at Oprah Winfrey and The Rock.
Yeah.
They committed. They didn't say they were donating 10 million.
Right.
They were committing to donating 10 million.
And that meant that each
That when
one
you-
of them needed to try and draw up 5 million. So
Exactly.
they were hoping that enough
Well, that's-
people to their name.
Exactly. So these billionaires.
Yeah.
Well, he's 800 million. She's 2.3 billion or whatever.
Regardless.
Yeah, it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
But they want the people that don't have any money or living day to day to donate money,
Yeah.
so they could say they gave 10 million.
Yeah.
That they committed. They're scared to death right now that they're
Oh.
not going to get the 10 million.
It's fucking
that they're
hilarious.
Oh, it's great.
They think they're actually like the way it's looking. They're actually going to have to put money out
Exactly.
of pocket.
They're going to have to because they got it was like $100,000 or something they got. It was pathetic.
Yeah.
Because people are starting to see the bullshit.
Oh my god, the comment section and shit
Oh,
on
it's
those
crazy.
videos was hilarious.
Yeah, like-
they actually had to turn off comments. Oprah turned off all of her fucking comments on
I bet
her
she did
Instagram
because,
now.
Instead of, pulling on the purse strings of people that are barely making it day to day.
Exactly.
Why don't you go to your elite idiot friends
Yep.
that are multimillionaires and billionaires
And work out a plan.
They could rebuild that whole town
Oh my god.
in no time.
Exactly. They'd
know-
have the same people that they're willing to pay to build their houses. Well, hey, get them to build all these other houses.
Yeah, and exactly.
You know what I mean?
Did you
Like-
Did you see what Oprah and Bezos did? They actually brought in fire equipment to protect their property.
Just their property.
They
Oh.
bought this in pre-fires, before the
Oh,
fires.
okay.
They brought in equipment.
Well, that was the thing. Going back to I believe it was 2017, 2018, when Oprah opened her road up for a wildfire that was going on.
Okay.
The only reason a road needed to be open was because she scooped that land up when a fire had come through in a previous year.
Gotcha.
It's been this creeping thing that they've
Yeah.
done.
And then I guess she hired security to keep people off her property.
Yeah.
While they're trying to. If you want to help
I
everybody,
don't want to find those tunnels.
if you want
don't want to see what's going on in those
if
tunnels.
you want to help everybody, why don't you just throw some tents up, get some get some some food in there.
Right? Well, and now she did do that. From what I understand, she did do that.
Not on her ground.
Well,
She could do it on her.
no.
There's plenty
Well,
of displaced
no.
people.
What I'm saying is right.
Put a
and
tent.
She went.
Put
she-
a tent
she-
city
she-
there.
right.
You have 1,000 acres or 2,000 acres. You can
No.
build a tent city in no time.
No, they might get too close to the tunnels. You can't have people around the human trafficking tunnels, okay? You got to keep them off the land. That's why they're trying to take more land so they can do more out in the open. They're tired of hiding in caves.
guess.
They're tired of doing their shit underground. They want to be able to do their shit out in the open. Well, it turns out that the guy across the way that owns that island,
Yeah.
well, he's CIA.
Oh, really?
Yep. Turns out that Oracle, a company he founded, is a communication company.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Oracle's pretty big, I think.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
It's real easy to be a big company when you've got the backing of the CIA.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, look at
look at
Google,
look at that drug runner that ran drugs.
Alphabet. I mean,
Yeah.
look at Meta. Yeah, Oh, hell yeah.
That guy was making money hand over fist. He had to bury it.
Yeah.
Then they came in and swooped him up and act like they had nothing. They had no idea what he was doing.
Well, that's just it. When you make an agreement with the federal government. And now, and like I said, the deep state, they have a lot of control. But when you make a deal with the federal government and it sounds too good to be true, or it sounds like you might end up 6 feet deep at the end of it, well, just enjoy the ride and go along for it as long as you are willing to have sold your soul for, and then just know that there will be hell to pay on the other side of it.
You're getting killed.
Yeah. I mean, look, you can't even be a chef without drowning in 4 feet of water.
Exactly.
You can't.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who's brave enough to take that job. I wonder what that pays.
Right? I mean, at this point, if you have within the last decade signed up to work for any of these people, I mean, like, I kind of want to know what they went and got you with.
You must
I mean,
not value your life very much.
No, because I mean, just looking at the Clinton body count itself, I would not want to be an associate of theirs. Like, I wouldn't even want to get 2 steps close. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, before you know it, you're suicided with 2 shots to the back of the head.
Yeah.
Or you're drowning where there's no water.
Well, they have to do that because they don't want these stories to come out like the one with Barack and Tucker Carlson.
Well, and now, see, so again, there's where, to play devil's advocate of it, okay, you got a guy like him. How did he last that long?
Exactly.
How has he been allowed to go that long? I mean, they were, I believe, able to diminish his character pretty well.
Oh, I'm sure they did.
Yeah.
Did you look at the guy? He doesn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't even look like he.
Not
I mean,
in the shape. He's not in good shape anymore.
No, he's not.
But I mean, he was allowed to write a book. He was allowed to put all of his statements and testimony out in. He spoke before Congress back in 08, 09. Like,
what they do? Hide that? Because I never seen that.
It's out there. Like they bury it, but I mean there is footage from him from that time frame trying to get it out, and I don't fully remember what was the distraction back then that got everybody off to something else.
Was it that was the mortgage crisis?
Okay.
Remember the housing bubble?
Yeah, that's right.
That was right around that time.
Okay.
I mean, there you go.
Yeah.
What's better way than keep people having to worry about paying all their bills?
Yeah.
When you're giving out mortgages at interest only loans.
And he said that nobody was willing to take the story at the time. And so if you have that much control of the media, because it turns out that anybody in the media that was going to speak ill of Barack or show him in a bad light would then just not have any access.
Yeah, exactly.
So then you don't have if you are knowing that this guy is looking like he's going to become the president and you're going to need access to him to be able to keep viewers' eyes on your propaganda, well then you're going to do what you need to do to keep on the good graces of the propaganda machine. You're not going to go, and even if you want to run that story, you're not going to.
Oh, exactly. I mean, yeah, and they don't want to run it either anyway.
No.
It doesn't even matter. I mean,
no.
If that was Trump, it would have been ran constantly.
God.
That's why it'd be burning your eyeballs.
Well, I mean, and look at the stories that they did run with Trump to try and derail him.
Oh, absolutely. That's why nothing got really. I mean, he got a lot done, but he could have got a lot more done.
Well, and I thought from the way it looks like he did try to get the ball rolling, but ran into the deep state. And
yeah, exactly.
Now, with that being said, to me, again, looking at all aspects of it, there's pictures of him rubbing elbows with Jeffrey Epstein and the Clintons
absolutely, and Oprah.
I mean, at his level, with the money he was making, it would make sense. I never knew he wasn't a drinker. Like, to me, that was mind-boggling to see him, and he claims to have not drank alcohol. So what his vice is, it seems to be just business, and so therefore they didn't have anything but the way and women.
That was his vice that got him in trouble.
That was, and it came at that, and that's why they had the whole Me Too push. The whole Me Too push was to try and get everybody and their brother, sister, mother to come out of the woodwork, hoping that they would get something to stick.
Yeah, and it backfired on them because they got. The one senator got busted, a Democrat. I forget his name. He was the
Wiener.
No, not him. The one that was a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
he
I know who you mean.
touched the military girl's
Yeah.
breast on the plane. I forget
Yeah.
his name.
I do too.
But he got, I mean, they tried to save him.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you shouldn't resign, blah, blah, blah.
Well, look at how many times they've tried to go after like Giuliani. I mean, they've made that guy look like a creep on video.
Oh,
but
exactly.
There was no actual getting anything to stick legally. And that's where you got to look at it. These guys that, yeah, they look like fucking creeps on video. But when you break it down and you ask the people involved who are being like make claims against them, and then they come out and they're like, no, that's not actually how it happened. And then they make it looks even worse. Or you have people who take something and they exaggerate it out to make it sound like it was way worse than it really was. And it's this manipulation of the truth where the truth is always going to come out when it comes to bullshit. I mean, you can only cover it up for so long. Look at the whole fucking Barack thing. He's got plenty of evidence stacked against him that this shit looks like it's true. And so what do they need to do? They need to go and convince one of the women from his past to come out and be like, hey, we need you to come out and give a good story about, why you think that that's bupkis, so that way we can get people to look away from the actual evidence. It's not about not looking at the truth. Or I mean, that is what it is. It's about not looking at the truth. It's about getting people distracted enough away from it. Look over here. Hey. The while.
That senator was Al Franken.
Al Franken. Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
He touched her breast and tried kissing her on the C-130 or whatever.
Yeah. But you see, it's that shit where when the Democrats were the ones who were for slavery, they're always the ones who are actually aligned with the more sinister things going on in the world. And they just do it under the guise of being the good guys, quote unquote. And that term in and of itself is fucking so subjective. I mean, your greatest villain is going to think that what they're doing is for their own betterment, they're for their own good. Like, I mean, it is where these guys are doing what they're doing to keep power, plain and simple. Well, somebody needs to do something about them trying to keep power because they've clearly made it so we can't use the systems that were put in place for us to use to actually do something about it. And we're not going to be able to just magically make fucking billions of dollars appear to be able to fight the machine, so to speak, Especially when they've got everything locked down. So even if you attempt to start becoming something, well, they'll come along, they'll offer you, hey, you can toe the line because it seems like we can get some people to listen to you and we'll give you a new script, or you're out of here, and those are your options. It's either play ball and play our way, or we'll find a way to make sure you're not a threat, But the more people see that all they have to do is come together. I mean, what we need in this country is anarchy. And when I say anarchy, I mean what the actual word of that means. I don't mean no rules. I mean no rulers.
Yeah.
This country is found on freedom. And that freedom, we have the baseline that we need in the Constitution and the 10 Amendments, or the Bill of Rights. I know I'm a fucking idiot. I get it. I'm not claiming to be a fucking genius, but I am able to fucking put two and two together and, eventually make a coherent sentence here and there. But
you mean like Fetterman?
Well, I mean, hey. Come on. Don't fucking go and compare me to Strokey.
He was dumb before he had a stroke.
Well, and that's just it. And if someone like that can spout off, like I went back and watched, because that's the thing. I was never really politically inclined to pay attention because, again, take care of my shit. It is what it is. It's a narrative that's at a level that once it's down at my level, then I'll worry about it. When I was a state employee and they didn't want to give me my fucking paycheck, that's when I was worried about it. You know, that's when I was looking to raise some hell.
Yeah, so did you hear Biden the other day talking about the unions?
No.
Oh, it's hilarious.
No.
He goes, "Yeah, the unions built the middle class." Are you fucking kidding me?
They destroyed the middle
exactly.
class.
They didn't build the middle class, you idiot.
Oh my
All
God.
the unions do is steal from the middle class every chance they get. They
Yeah.
didn't build the middle class. You're a dreamer. There's a reason more and more people are getting out of the unions
Yeah.
because they know the only person that makes money in the union is the fat cat at the top.
Exactly.
That's
the one
the-
who's
yeah.
sitting around
the
not
shitbag not doing anything.
contributing anything other than making your life more of a living hell by
Exactly.
pissing off
and
your
taking more of your
employers.
hard-earned money.
Yeah, yeah. And it's where, like, if they would do something with it, the money that has been wasted and the systems that we could have put in place by now to have reached, like, a future that we dreamed about decades ago, it would have easily have been done under the right management.
Well, the other thing is, I mean, they bullshit people left and right. You know, they tell you you got to pay taxes
Yeah.
to fix the roads, the bridges, and education.
Well, so they're trying to pass the buck.
Yeah, but that's all bullshit
It is.
because the roads and bridges are funded through, registrations, fuel taxes, shit like
Fines.
that. Exactly.
Yeah.
The education's funded through property taxes.
Right.
The only reason we're paying income tax is to pay the fucking
The government.
interest on the fucking debt.
yeah.
No, we're paying
Well,
the interest
right.
on the debt. That's the
Well,
only.
but it doesn't even go to that.
Well,
They're not even paying the debt.
Well,
The debt's not
no,
going down.
they're not paying-
The
that's what
debt's
I-
not
yeah, they're
going
not
down.
paying the debt.
It's going up.
They're not paying the debt.
Right.
They're paying the interest on the debt.
They're not even bringing in enough to pay the interest on the debt.
Well,
is what
they're
I'm
not,
saying.
but
They're
that's
just
yeah,
bringing in. The only thing that our income tax goes to is to paying their salaries.
No, it doesn't pay that. It pays the interest on the debt.
Where's their salaries coming from?
That's coming from other taxes. Not the income
know,
tax
I know.
is paying the interest on the debt. All the
Okay.
taxes you're paying to the IRS, that's all that's doing is paying the debt.
Well, I
Think
mean-
about what they collect. They can't even pay the interest.
Well, the
That's why it
Federal
keeps going up.
Reserve isn't a federal
No, it's not-
agency.
No, it's a totally separate agency.
It is a,
Yeah, so
a private
we're paying them
corporation.
guys. Yeah, we're paying them interest. They're
Yeah.
making a lot of money.
Yeah. And then they went and created the IRS to protect the Federal Reserve. It's
Well,
not,
they're their henchmen.
yeah, exactly. And now what did they just buy? They just bought fucking submachine guns. Now, what the fuck does the IRS
Well, what does
need
FEMA-
with submachine
What
guns?
does FEMA need them for?
Well, I mean, some terrorizers might start terrorizing
Yeah,
us.
what,
and
what does FEMA need weapons for? Isn't that what the military's for?
those wildfires, they got to put them out.
Yeah, they're putting them out.
Put them out with bullets.
Yeah, exactly.
They're trying new means. I mean, the water, they turned the water off, so they're going to try and shoot some bullets
yeah,
at the next one.
Yeah, I mean, people just. Why don't people ask questions like?
People are.
Why do
That's the thing.
Why do these people need weapons? This doesn't even make sense.
People are asking these questions. People are demanding these answers, but you're not going to see it on social media. I mean, we found out when you don't follow the approved narratives, you're going to get censored. And there's a politician who said, we will know we have the American people when everything they believe is a lie.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Everything they see
Well,
is a lie.
It is. There's so much. I mean, we're lied to every single day, and they're not held accountable to it. If we lie to the government, we're in prison. If they lie to us, it doesn't. It's just like that's just normal.
It feels that way because we allow it to feel that way.
Well, and we allow it to happen.
and
though.
we-
We don't hold them accountable.
Exactly. I mean, well, there are. I saw a TikTok of a vet in a government building going off. I didn't look enough into it. It was a quick look this morning, and that was as far as I got with it. I saved it for later, but there are people standing up now, and I kind of feel like that had something to do with Biden's little domestic terrorist speech that he gave while he was over there.
That was complete bullshit in Florida.
Yeah. There was no reason to be fucking making the
guy
comments that he
the
was
guy
making.
was a fucking lunatic that shot people.
Yeah.
And he trying to make it domestic terrorist. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, and saying, but it was just the way his remarks about the fact that they will have more to say on that later.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially given the timing, it is September. We are headed to what the fucking 22nd anniversary.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things where it's getting to be time where your generation, see, the generation that now grew up post 9/11 doesn't have quite the same amount of terror in them, and it's getting to be where they need to kind of re-up that.
Well, the other, then you talk about the 22nd anniversary.
Yeah.
He's not even going to be there.
Well, it would make sense.
You know where he's supposed to be in Alaska.
Alaska?
Yeah,
Really?
that's what they said.
Oh, is he on vacation again?
No, I don't think he's on vacation. I think he's, I don't know what he's doing, to be honest with you. He's probably checking out his bus investment.
But now, I thought it was like some big thing for the current sitting president to
It
go
was.
to
They
New
did it for
York
21 years.
And yeah.
20 or 21 years, whatever it is. They did that every year. And they're going to send Kamala.
Well,
He's
that
going to do it.
oh,
Maybe she'll be
okay.
the president by then.
Hey, I don't know.
That might be the situation.
They might be they might be trying to get ahead of it, get ahead of whatever story's about to unfold in front of us. Because I mean, whatever's going on, it is bullshit, and we're not being told the whole story, even at the level that I mean, you saw where they have plenty of evidence to go after Biden for the corruption. I brought up the whole pseudonym. There's at least 4 that he used to communicate with people while vice president overseas for business dealings. So it doesn't make sense how you wouldn't. You have all the evidence. You're telling people you have the evidence, but yet you're still letting the show go on, so to speak.
It doesn't make sense. Yeah.
No. And so that's where I kind of feel like the whole thing being a show is kind of.
Yeah, he's gonna be in Anchorage, Alaska.
Oh, okay.
He's gonna commemorate it with the military families there, Jabir Air Force Base. So, don't you think it's kind of weird? He's near Russia.
Well, I mean, look, when he was in Hawaii, they were supposed to be in South Africa, and they ended up not going. So there is this whole fucking
Something's weird,
thing
yeah.
with the leaders being near each other.
And going back to that, I was talking earlier about Pakistan, how he didn't go to East Palestine.
Yeah.
Palestine. I think it's
East Palestine.
Yeah, East Palestine. If he didn't have time, what the hell is he doing on the beach?
Right? He went on 2 vacations.
Yeah, he's on the beach while Hawaii's burning, but he don't have time to go to East Palestine.
Yeah. Well, and that's just an excuse.
Oh, absolutely.
It's so right there. I mean, that's poor time management. Every politician has poor time management.
It has nothing even to do with that. He has no intention of going there. That's what it comes down to.
No, your average politician is in D.C. for what? Probably like a month's worth of days out of a year. Meanwhile, they're then back at their state, not doing anything of substance other than just having meetings about doing things, or trying to just steal money from their people. I mean, it's really gotten to be where why not just shut it down and get it under new management? And then, to me, the more we parade around on the world stage the way we are, the more we let ourselves open to be picked apart, so to speak, where it looks bad on the world stage when we allow what is basically the modern day mafia to control the world, you know?
Did you see 2 of the largest insurance agencies are pulling out of California?
Yeah, they won't. Well, State Farm started it.
Yeah, and Allstate's going to do it.
And now Allstate, yeah.
But I wonder
how many states? How long until it's other states?
Well, my question is, what's going to happen in Florida?
Yeah,
or California? I mean,
yeah. Well,
what's going on down there that they're out there that they're going to pull out of there?
They're going to get it primed and ready for the billionaires who are going to come in and buy it up.
Probably
once they get the pores out and they don't have to pay any of them, they will then they'll be back.
It's the same thing in Florida. Like most of them pulled out of there.
Yeah.
So
oh really?
Oh yeah, a lot of them pulled out of there.
Oh.
So what are these people going to do that have mortgages on these homes? Because if you have a mortgage, you need to have insurance.
Yeah.
So that's just another way to force them out of their homes.
Yeah.
Because you can. I think there is a Florida state insurance fund.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's probably extremely expensive to. I would imagine it's really expensive, but what better way to get people to sell than to make it force them to sell?
Right.
Because the average person can't, self-insure a $400,000 or $500,000 house,
No. Well, and
even
like
a
I said,
$100,000 house.
Your average person is worrying about hundreds.
Exactly, not
While-
thousands or tens of thousands or hundreds
No.
of thousands.
No. And
So-
you've got them just pissing away billions. I mean, it is. It's where
Well, now we're pissing away trillions.
trillions. Yeah. We've stepped it up. We've upped the game. And again, that talking at numbers at that level, it becomes a fictional narrative because I mean it's making no sense.
No, I mean, that's why I said like they could collect all the tax money and they can't even pay the interest.
Yeah.
So there's no way you could ever even start turning the deficit around, even if you wanted to.
No. And then it's one of those things where we always want to push it off for the next generation or push it off. And but we've allowed the oldest generation to destroy things. And that's where it is.
Well, they did, and then the younger generation's not any better.
No.
You got two ends of two ends of the spectrum.
Yeah. That's
that
by
are-
design.
That are oh, absolutely.
Because the older generation studied the ways and the means that they needed to be able to manipulate and control all the generations. Like
then you got
the MK
then you got-
Ultra,
then you got
all
the
that
younger
shit.
generation that doesn't want to do anything.
Well, because of the programming.
Oh, exactly.
Because of the bullshit. I mean, if parents were able to parent and be a good influence on their kids without all of the exterior influences, you would not have as many shitheads.
Yeah.
But the problem you run into is that given the control that they have with the propaganda that they're pumping in, where everybody's just repeating the same shit, just in different ways. And it's one of those things where the young will always blame the old, the rich will always blame the poor will always blame the rich. They will always keep us chasing our tails from joining up and being like, wait a minute, you're just like me. You just want to live. You just want to be able to live your life and be happy. Well, that's all I want. And I want to be able to, live and love. Like, that is all anybody really wants. And then they go and force these other things upon us that we then feel like we have to, like, contrive ourselves and force ourselves into this fucking pocket over here, that pocket over there. And everything we say, eventually it just goes out and it's reinterpreted by everyone around us and morphed into things that we don't get to control. So, I mean, it is what it is. If we all came together, we could fucking overthrow it. We could take them, put them over a fucking log, give them a good spanking, and send them to the old folks' home.
That's where they need to be.
That's where they need to be.
Even now, like, I like Trump, but I'm not really happy that he's running for president because
Right.
he's just another old guy.
Yeah. And another old rich guy.
Exactly.
Who's too rich.
Yeah.
Like, again, there's a guy who he filed for bankruptcy how many times?
Oh, tons of times.
Right. So, like, there you're showing me a rich guy who doesn't know how to actually manage money.
Oh, he knows how.
Well, yeah, he does.
That
He
was
does. Right, yeah.
He did that. That's all done by design.
Yeah.
Because, and that there again,
Working the system. That shouldn't exist.
They set the
that
system up
way.
that way. They're
Yeah.
just upset because he used it to his advantage. Like you said, do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah.
They don't want you to use the laws they put in place. That's why half the IRS laws, people don't even realize they wouldn't even have to pay taxes if they knew all the stuff they could do to get, to follow the same laws that all these rich people follow.
Right.
The problem is you can't afford to hire attorneys because, like you said, you're worrying about hundreds.
Yeah.
They're worrying about millions.
Well, and those attorneys have been
They wrote
given
the
jobs.
laws.
Exactly.
They wrote the laws. They know. They help write. These politicians, half of them are idiots. They
Well,
can't do anything.
No.
They're not writing any laws.
Right. You have you have the ones that are idiots. Then you have the ones who are playing idiots, but are
Exactly.
actually
Well, yeah.
fucking geniuses.
Oh, absolutely.
Like they have whole fucking think tanks coming up with personalities for these fuckers to be able to get them to look dumber than they really are. You know, these fuckers wrote words on paper to force people into doing things that they sure as hell don't need to fucking be doing.
I'd love to see Fetterman and Biden's think tanks.
Oh my God. Well, that's just it. Then you have the ones who are nice controlled puppets where you can bring them out, you can puppet them around on the stage. Now, the president obviously has body doubles. Like, that's something that body doubles have been a thing all the way the fuck back to when we were trying to kill Castro, you know? Like, and they go back even way before that. But I mean, so the thing is the Hollywood makeup and shit's only gotten better. So you never know who the fuck you're actually seeing. I mean, you're not telling me that if there are actual live people, that's the real one. You know what I mean? Like, if you're putting him on a stage and you're giving him some shit, like, that's the one when you can control the environment better. That's where you're going to let the one who might actually be real. But everybody else, they've gotten it to a point where it doesn't even matter if they are acting similar because, well, this one's the goofy one. This one's the one that's going to talk stern. This one's the one that's going to, you know what I mean? You've got one for each lie that you're telling, you know? Because the whole time it is where the emperor has no clothes. You know, I mean, you can clearly see when these people have fucking handlers right off stage waiting for them to be able to, oh, yeah, no, go this way.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty bad when the Secret Service is telling them how to
yeah,
where to turn here.
And you want to say that these are the ones leading. No, the problem is we need new leaders. We need new leadership. We need people who aren't in it for money, and
That's what I said. You got to take money out. You got to take money out of politics.
Yeah,
it's never going to happen. Like you said, you
have never
take the lobbyists out of there.
Yeah,
you know, but it's never going to happen.
Corporations are what designed it. I mean, if you look back at
Rockefeller,
they want to get all that. They met
their drugs through. They want to get all their stuff through. They want all their weapons, all that stuff.
Yeah. And oh man, the weapons and shit is what the primary focus has been.
Oh, absolutely.
For the last 4 decades, and yet we want to act like we're still just using bullets and rifles.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
No,
they're well beyond that.
Exactly.
They don't even need the bullets and rifles to create all sorts of havoc.
They have this. This thing can put out a frequency that will debilitate a mind. You know what I mean? Like. And regardless, the patents are there. There's fucking actual, like, they've looked into it. It's real. They can manipulate people with just the frequency. So then when you get your conspiratards who fucking start pouting off about 5G, well, yeah, it sounds fucking retarded with the way they're saying it, but there's actual fucking truth involved in the movement to fucking put these giant towers up every so often, basically on every fucking telephone pole.
You better go get fitted for your tinfoil hat.
Hey, I've already got mine.
You better get fitted for it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's what we need to start looking at is putting in countermeasures. Like, start looking at it from, okay, well, we know what they're doing, so how do we counteract it? How do you stop? How do you prevent without doing actual destructive shit and going the route where you turn into a fucking domestic terrorizer like they want?
Yeah, you don't want to do that because that makes you look bad.
But there is
and that's what they
technological ways, because if they're doing it frequency based, there's ways to block frequencies.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, look at the directed energy. That is just, it's vibrating. It's a fucking laser. Well, they've already showed us that the fucking color that helps. I mean, at least in the way things are going.
And they mark it 666. I mean, what? They're just sick people.
Well, it's not. It's it's they believe it. And that's the thing that you need to remember throughout all of it. It doesn't fucking matter. Like, just because I can talk about the shit doesn't mean I believe it. It's the fact that they believe it. If they're worshiping a fucking satanic god and they're making sacrifices to it, that's a problem.
Absolutely.
You know, they're giving that thing energy regardless of what the fuck you want to believe, one way or another. There is clear signs. Now, they're not going to come out and fucking tell you that about what they do.
Yeah.
There's a picture. Tori, I will look it up so you can possibly link it if you need it. But there is a picture of Obama, speaking of the Obama of it all, wearing this demonic-looking regalia. I want to say it was at Bohemian Grove.
Okay.
But it's one of the strangest costumes that you'll ever see, and you can't look at it and tell me that the guy wearing it is of sane mind.
Yeah.
Okay? And I mean, it's the weird shit like that, and the fact of they believe it. It doesn't, again, it's not about your beliefs.
Yeah.
They believe it, and they have billions of dollars to do whatever they want to do to make it into existence in whatever way they see fit.
Yeah.
Come on, man. It's a state of stupidity.
It's a state of stupidity.
State of stupidity.
That's just a state of stupidity.
State of stupidity.
I believe it's a state of stupidity.
They want you to believe it's the state of stupidity.
I told him, I said it's a state of stupidity.